Well, California's one-party corruption culture has been busted wide open with new details of a scandal involving the family of Governor Newsom's handpicked attorney general, a position made famous, of course, by Kamala Harris. For all the juicy details, we turn to California State Assemblyman James Gallagher. James, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Let me just do a brief and then get you to pick up from there. AG Rob Bonta, that's the guy's name. He was a state assemblyman like yourself who was picked in 2021 to be the AG, to replace somebody that went to Biden's White House. And his wife, Mia, took over his job in the assembly in a special election. And then we are now hearing about all these multi-million dollar donations that are getting kind of mixed in with money going to friends and supporters of the Bonta family. And you pick it up from there.
Yeah, well, $500,000 that Bonta's campaign spent on legal defense in an FBI investigation. Now, he says he's the victim, but there's a lot of details that have not emerged here. And so, look, there's been a lot of things going on here. This is the Mary Poppins bag of scandals here in California. Things just keep on coming out. And then, of course, you have Gavin Newsom's chief of staff, who's skimming campaign accounts of the former attorney general. Who's also alleged to have written off as business expenses Chanel bags and luxury yacht rentals. Things just keep coming up, and there is a cloud of corruption around the Gavin Newsom administration. And I'll tell you, it's really not new. I mean, this was the same woman who tried to use bully tactics to get a crime measure taken off of the ballot here in California, who oversaw the Panera-gate scandal where Gavin Newsom's friend, who owned several Panera Breads, somehow got himself an exemption from a fast food minimum wage increase bill. When we delved into it, we found out many people had signed NDAs to not disclose the negotiations that happened behind closed doors. This is the kind of stuff that's going on in California, and finally, I think it is coming to light nationwide.
Well, it happens in every state that has a one-party system, which is essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, but it really kind of started with Willie Brown when he was the head of the assembly, right? I mean, he's the one who gerrymandered the state and kind of helped to turn it into a one-party state, no?
Yeah, well, you know what they say, Democrats have absolute power here in California. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yeah. And so, these folks think that they can get away with anything. And finally, there's starting to be some enforcement. There's being investigation. They're looking into these things, and a lot of things are coming to light. Now, again, none of the attorney general nor the governor have been, charged with anything in these crimes. But these are people that are under them. Right. And you're looking at, in Gavin Newsom's case, this was his chief of staff, his number one person in his office, who was doing these things all while she was, his number one advisor in the governor's office. And so, look, all of these things need to be investigated, need to be followed through, and there needs to be accountability no matter where it leads.
Well, but the question is, who does the accountability? I mean, when you have a one-party state, you can appoint the prosecutors who are not going to get to the truth. How do you break up this political monopoly?
Well, one is through the U.S. attorneys,
yes.
And so actually, this investigation we were talking about with regard to Gavin Newsom's chief of staff actually started under the Biden administration, but now this is the arrests have been made, the indictments have been made with a new U.S. attorney that has been brought in under President Trump. And you're starting to see this, that is a very powerful force that the U.S. Attorney's Office can do investigations, they can bring justice, they can do indictments. And all of that are things that need to be done because for far too long, there's been very lax and underhand things being done under this one-party rule.
That's exactly, James, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's exactly why we have these checks and counterchecks in our system. The founding fathers knew that there was a danger. There had to be some balance between states and the federal government, and we got to leave it at that. James Gallagher, great to see you, my friend. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.